Currently, throughout our world, the equivalent of 8.3 million tons of plastic waste are being dumped into our oceans. This is the equivalent weight of around 2,000 times the weight of the Tokyo Tower. These practices are profoundly harmful to our marine ecosystems. My name is Rui, and I'd like to invite you all to join me in finding new and innovative solutions to solving environmental issues. Currently, 1 in 3 marine mammals are found entangled with marine litter. This leads to the death of about 100 million marine animals every year. That's almost as much as the entire population of Japan. Right now, 59% of whales are found with marine plastic, 36% of seals, and 100% of turtles have ingested harmful marine plastics. This has drastic consequences for our ecosystems. There are 500 worldwide marine locations classified now as dead zones. And when marine plastics enter into contact with coral reefs, the mortality rate rises from 8% to 89%, making it almost impossible for our corals to survive. Most of these plastics are found in 5 locations throughout our world. The largest of which is a large Pacific garbage patch. The large Pacific garbage patch is a set of a collection of trash that forms into unnatural islands where ecosystems are poisoned from feeding on our trash. So as you can see, this problem is immense, and we have to solve it now. So how have we chosen to solve it? Well, when we look at the current market, we see that companies tend to use very, very large vessels. These are incredibly big offshore patrol vessels. They're expensive, they need a lot of crew to operate. They're almost like floating cities that we use to remove the trash from our oceans. Not only that, but they're carbon emitters, so they will need carbon offsets to be actually feasible. And they'll also need a lot of manpower to implement. So our idea is to use the emerging technology of unmanned surface vehicles. These are commonly known as ship drones, in order to gather and clean our oceans free of marine plastic. These solutions don't require a big crew to operate. They're much cheaper, and because of their size, we can use renewable energies, such as solar, to power these ships. Let's start by comparing both solutions. We'll start with the traditional one. The traditional one uses 2 large offshore supply vessels that are ships that are longer than 17 meters. This is as long as a street, in order to traverse the ocean and gather trash in a thing that is quite similar to a fishing net. These boats have a crew of 45 people. And all these people, they need systems on board to ensure that they can survive, such as heating, to keep them warm, ventilation, to keep the air fresh inside the ships, kitchens, supplies, showers, and none of them need to be paid wages too. So these ships are incredibly expensive. One of these ships can cost as much as 10 million US dollars, as well as having incredibly large costs to operate. Not only that, but these solutions really aren't sustainable. One of these ships emits as much CO2 as 150 city cars doing a 10-mile city commute. That's not even the worst of it, because when you look at other pollutants, you see that these ships can pollute as much as 150,000 cars in a single day of operation at sea, which makes these solutions only viable if you have carbon boosting offsets, which make them very hard to scale. Before I continue with the technical part of our presentation, and everyone except the engineers fall asleep, I want to ask you a question. Who here knows what the house cleaning robot is? A Roomba? Raise your arm. I have a Roomba at my home. It makes my life very, very easy, mostly because I'm lazy. So my idea was to make a sea Roomba. Now this sounds like an idea of a crazy cartoon scientist, And to be honest, it is, except it works. So let's see how unmanned systems work. A single team of up to 7 people, 4 operators and 3 technicians, can control up to 10 ships, instead of 45 people for 1 ship. This makes these ships need none of these systems. There are no people on board, there's no need for heating, there's no need for ventilation, kitchen supplies, showers, or pavements. So they make them very small. Since they're small, we can also use alternative and sustainable power sources to power them, such as solar, hydrogen, to power their batteries and reduce their operation emissions to virtually 0. This makes these solutions more sustainable and profoundly easier to scale. With this in mind, we developed various iterations for cleaning robots. This was Dart 2. This was designed to operate high at seas. This iteration was a single-hull ship that tows large amounts of plastic, up to 2 tons, which is the equivalent of up to 200,000 small plastic bottles. With this in mind, this ship is capable of autonomous operation, which means that it has 3 stages in the way it works. First, very much like a Roomba, it detects where the trash is, uses various sensors on board to know where the plastic is, then it gathers it in a single payload, and then it drops it off, so you can repurpose it and use it for new things. It does this in 2 ways. So when it's operating close to shore and sailing near cities, the robot can do everything autonomously. But for a ship to go out at sea to a large trash islands and come back, that's so much time. So how can we fix this? Well, our idea is to collaborate with commercial companies such as fishers and liners to use their ships while they're on their rides to take the trash back to shore. This means that the robot can stay at sea forever, only coming back if it breaks down or needs to be repaired. With this in mind, now I gotta ask myself, well, why would a fisherman take time off his day to take trash back home? He's a trash collector, he's a fisherman. Why would a cargo ship take trash back home? This brings us to the interesting part of our solution. Our objective is to build a wide-branded fleet of unmanned surface vehicles. This fleet can be used to gather trash en masse. It can be sold to existing commercial companies so that they can offset their own environmental image issues. Making these in large quantities will also make them cheaper. Making them cheaper makes them easier to implement, and we can do that right now with the current technology. You're probably all wondering, however, why has a military engineer that's supposed to build machines for conflict and war come to talk to you about, well, an environmental issue? It seems uncharacteristic. Well, to help you understand that, I'll have to tell you all a bit about my story. So, I grew up in a very small coastal town in the north of Portugal where there was nothing but sea. And the sea is a core part of our culture. Through fishing, surfing, sailing, through spending a day at the beach with your family. So the sea and the oceans have always been a core part of who I am. That's why, when I turned 17, I joined the military academy as a very, very young naval officer. I wanted to build ships, I wanted to sail, and most of all, I wanted to protect our oceans. Shortly after, I had the amazing opportunity to go to the Azores. The Azores is quite similar to Japan's Okinawa. It's a small set of islands right off the coast of Portugal. And the Azores are beautiful. The nature in the Azores is absolutely astounding. And a big part of that is our oceans. A big part of the Portuguese Navy's mission is to patrol our exclusive economic zone. The exclusive economic zone in Portugal is an area at sea in which we have to protect and ensure that it feeds our people and it's done so sustainably. In Portugal, the exclusive economic zone is almost 15 times the size of the Portuguese land. This is quite similar to Japan. Japan is the 8th largest economic zone in the entire world. You have a lot of sea to protect and to sustain. However, when I was in the Azores, I was incredibly sad to see something. Our ecosystems weren't being harmed by illegal fishermen. They weren't being harmed by unsustainable practices. They were being harmed by us, by the trash that we take to our beaches, by the trash that we dump into our rivers. An immense number of marine animals are now dying in the Azores because of plastic waste. That's why I decided to switch up my research. I went from researching military vessels designed for conflict and war into focusing on protecting our oceans. Our oceans have been supplying for us. They've been feeding us, and they've been helping us grow since the dawn of time. That's why, through my work and the work of many other researchers, we hope to protect the oceans, which have sustained us since our birth through the use of innovative technology that is sustainable at its core. Thank you.